Ladies and gentlemen, success is never a matter of chance. It is a matter of design, deliberate, disciplined, and decisively guided by principles. And one such principle, if understood and applied with unwavering focus, holds the power to multiply your results while reducing your wasted effort. I speak of the 80/20 principle, the idea that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Now, this is not just a rule, it is a revelation. It whispers a secret that few dare to hear. You are already doing enough. But you are not doing enough of what truly matters. Look around. In every business, every relationship, every goal, you'll find a pattern. A small fraction of your actions create the vast majority of your results. A handful of habits determine the arc of your future. A few decisions repeated over time will shape your destiny. So the real question is not, how can I do more? It is, what must I stop doing so I can focus on the few things that matter most? Let us speak clearly. Most people are busy but not productive. They confuse movement with progress. They pride themselves on long to-do lists, yet they never ask the most dangerous question: is this moving me toward my definite purpose, or simply keeping me distracted? Success does not require you to work harder than everyone else. It requires you to work smarter with focused intensity. You must identify the 20% of your efforts that yield the 80% of your results, and then multiply them with all the power of your will. Think of the entrepreneur who discovers that only a few clients generate most of their income, so they serve those few clients with excellence. Think of the student who finds that just a handful of study techniques produce the deepest understanding, so they master those methods with precision. Think of the athlete who realizes that a few exercises build the most strength, so they repeat them relentlessly. This is not laziness, this is leverage, this is not minimalism, this is mastery. You were not meant to chase every opportunity. You were meant to discern, select, and concentrate, like the sculptor who removes the excess stone to reveal the statue hidden within. You must remove the excess effort to reveal the results you were born to create. But beware, this principle demands honesty. It requires you to confront your comfort. It forces you to eliminate tasks that make you feel productive but keep you mediocre. Ask yourself, what are the few things I do that truly move the needle? What activities consume my time but add little value? Where must I apply ruthless focus, and where must I walk away, because your energy is not infinite? Your time is not limitless. Every hour spent on the trivial steals from the essential. Every ounce of effort misdirected is a step away from your purpose. The world rewards those who produce value, not those who stay busy. And value is produced when you align your efforts with impact, not activity. So I challenge you today, find your 20%, refuse distraction, double your focus, eliminate the noise, and let your life become a monument to intentional effort. You are not here to be average, you are here to be effective. You are not here to fill your day, you are here to fulfill your purpose. The 80/20 principle is not just about doing less, it's about achieving more, by finally doing what matters most. And once you do that, my friend, the gates of success will no longer stand before you. They will swing wide open. In the pursuit of success, one of the greatest discoveries you will ever make is this: not all efforts are created equal. A few actions, rightly chosen and persistently applied, are responsible for the majority of your progress. And yet, most men and women exhaust themselves chasing dozens of tasks, scattering their energies across 1,000 directions, never realizing that success is not found in doing more, but in doing more of what matters most. The wise individual studies their actions with the eye of a master craftsman. They ask, which of these tasks bring me the highest return? Which of these efforts pull me closer to my goal? And in that moment, they begin to awaken to the law that governs achievement across all fields of endeavor, the law that reveals itself quietly but strikes with the force of revelation. A minority of inputs yield a majority of results. This is the principle that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Look around and you'll see it clearly. In business, a small portion of clients generate most of the revenue. In sales, a handful of strategies close the largest deals. In life, a few habits account for the majority of your growth or your decline. This law is not an opinion. It is an observable, repeatable truth, and once understood, it becomes a tool more powerful than gold. Now here is where the average man falters. He becomes intoxicated by busyness. He confuses action with progress. He fills his days with labor, never stopping to ask, is this labor aligned with purpose or merely with habit? His hours are full, but his results are meager. His will is strong, but it is scattered. He works without end, yet he feels no forward motion. This man must be taught, not to work harder, but to work wiser, not to add more hours, but to subtract the meaningless. He must rise each day, not with the aim of doing everything, but with the intent to do only what moves the needle. This is how empires are built, not by frenzy, but by focused force. To focus on the vital few is to become a master of economy, not just of money, but of energy, time, and attention. It is to recognize that you are not paid for how much you do, but for how well you do what truly matters. A farmer does not scatter seed across the entire desert. He finds the most fertile ground, and there he sows with care and intensity. You must do the same with your efforts. Think of the power you would unleash if you spent 80% of your time on the top 20% of your priorities. Imagine the clarity, the speed, the momentum. You would become like a laser beam, cutting through resistance, igniting progress, burning away the distractions that keep the masses entangled in mediocrity. But do not mistake simplicity for ease. To focus on the vital few requires discipline. It demands that you say no to the unnecessary, the urgent, but unimportant, the seductive distractions that masquerade as opportunity. It requires that you define with absolute clarity what your definite chief aim is, and then align every ounce of effort behind it. You must learn to track your results, to observe cause and effect, to measure which actions generate the highest returns. This is not drudgery, it is liberation. It is the process by which you stop living by reaction and start living by design. Do not be fooled by the appearance of effort. It is not enough to be busy. Ants are busy, bees are busy. The question is, are you effective? Are you productive in a way that changes your circumstances, elevates your spirit, and advances your mission? Those who rise to greatness are not those who did everything. They are those who identified the few things that mattered and did them relentlessly, excellently, and without distraction. So take inventory of your life. Examine your habits, audit your time, look deeply at your results, and with fearless clarity strip away the waste, the noise, the clutter. What remains? The vital few is where your fortune lies. He who masters this principle holds the key to achieving more, not through exhaustion, but through intelligent concentration of effort. It is here that success begins. It is here that purpose is fulfilled. And it is here that a life of extraordinary meaning is built, one focused act at a time. If success could speak, it would not shout, "Do more." It would whisper, "Do less, but do it better." For the path to achievement is not paved by addition, but by elimination. It is not what you take on that will shape your destiny, it is what you let go of. Most people are trapped in a prison of their own construction, a prison made not of steel bars, but of trivial tasks. They fill their days with low-value activities. They answer every call, reply to every message, say yes to every demand, and by the time the sun sets, they wonder why they feel exhausted yet unaccomplished. The answer is clear: they are busy, but they are not advancing. The truth is harsh, but it is liberating. Most of what you do each day does not matter. It neither builds your dream nor strengthens your character. It simply keeps you occupied, and occupation without direction is the very definition of failure in motion. You must understand, life does not reward motion, life rewards results. The world is filled with people who work hard, who hustle, who grind from morning to midnight, but only a handful rise above. Why? Because they have discovered a secret most ignore. You must eliminate the trivial many to make space for the vital few. You must cut away the noise. You must clear the clutter from your path. You must let go of the good to make room for the great. It is no easy task to do less when the world constantly demands more of you. But greatness has never been about pleasing the world. It has always been about mastering yourself, and mastery requires sacrifice. You must sacrifice the illusion of productivity for the reality of progress. Ask yourself how much of your time is spent reacting instead of creating, how many hours disappear into tasks that serve no purpose other than to make you feel like you're moving. Examine the trivial many. These are the distractions disguised as duties, the urgent emails, the endless scrolling, the shallow meetings, the minor tasks that consume your energy and steal your attention from your true purpose. These things do not serve you. They serve only to stall you, and unless you have the courage to remove them from your life, they will slowly erode your potential until nothing remains but regret. You must become ruthless with your focus. You must guard your time as a king guards his throne. You must weigh every task with a single question: does this contribute to my definite chief aim? If the answer is no, then it must go. There is power in subtraction. There is freedom in saying no, and there is greatness in those who dare to be selective in their pursuits. The artist does not complete the masterpiece by adding brushstrokes forever. He knows when to stop. The sculptor creates not by building, but by removing the unnecessary stone. So must you sculpt your life. You are not here to do everything. You are here to do the right things, and you cannot hold the gold while your hands are full of gravel. You cannot climb the mountain while dragging dead weight. You cannot focus on your dream while constantly distracted by trivial obligations that feed your comfort but starve your destiny. So make a decision today, not tomorrow, not next week today. Review your schedule, study your habits, look at your commitments with clear eyes, and whatever does not move you forward, remove it, without guilt, without apology, because in this life your energy is your most precious currency. Spend it wisely, and it will yield abundance. Waste it on the trivial, and you will find yourself rich in motion, but poor in meaning. Remember, your purpose is too important to be buried beneath the rubble of distraction. Your calling is too sacred to be sacrificed at the altar of busyness. So eliminate the trivial many, not because you are lazy, but because you are clear, not because you lack drive, but because you have direction. And once you do, you will find that success was never as far away as it seemed. It was simply waiting for you to clear the path. There is a great illusion that has deceived millions. It whispers into the ears of the ambitious and shouts from the mouths of the misinformed, "Work harder, and you will succeed." But the truth, when fully grasped, speaks a very different message. It says, it is not how hard you work, but how wisely you apply your effort, that determines your fate. Success is not won by labor alone. If it were, then the world's most exhausted men would also be its most prosperous. Yet we know this is not so. The man who digs ditches under the blazing sun works tirelessly, and yet he often struggles to meet his needs. Meanwhile, another man, seated behind a desk with a sharp mind and a clear plan, builds fortunes with a few well-leveraged decisions. You must understand this. Labor is noble, but labor without direction is slavery to the unnecessary. The key is leverage. What is leverage? It is the intelligent application of effort in a way that multiplies your outcome. It is when one action, well placed, creates a ripple effect that accomplishes what 1,000 random actions could not. It is not the quantity of your sweat, but the quality of your strategy that creates wealth, influence, and mastery. A man with a lever can move a boulder that his bare hands never could, And so it is in life. When you discover the power of focused intention, when you channel your strength into the right tasks, the right relationships, and the right systems, you unlock force far greater than your own muscle could ever produce. Now let me tell you this, there is dignity in hard work, but there is wisdom in smart work. The man who rises above is the one who learns to stop asking, "How can I do more?" and begins to ask, "How can I create more value with less effort?" That question, asked with sincerity and answered with action, becomes the gateway to transformation. Consider the entrepreneur who automates a system. While others trade time for money, he builds a machine that works while he sleeps. Consider the writer who distills truth into a single sentence that touches millions. While others ramble for hours, she communicates power with clarity. Consider the leader who delegates wisely, freeing himself to focus only on the most critical, most valuable decisions. All of these individuals have discovered leverage. They understand that success favors the man who moves deliberately, not desperately. Do not mistake this for laziness. It is the opposite. It is a discipline few ever master. It is harder to think than to act. It is harder to plan than to perform. But those who discipline their minds to think in terms of leverage will do more with 1 hour than others do with an entire week. You must begin to look at your life as an investment. Every minute you spend, every action you take, every ounce of your energy must produce a return. If it does not, it is a withdrawal from your future. If it does, it becomes compound interest paid in achievement, fulfillment, and legacy. You are not a machine designed for endless motion. You are a creator, designed to produce through clarity, not chaos. You were not born to toil endlessly for crumbs. You were born to master your time, to multiply your results, and to do so with intention, purpose, and precision. So I urge you, step back. Look at your work, your habits, your systems. Ask yourself, where am I working hard but gaining little? Where can I shift my energy to create maximum value? And then begin the process of refinement. Success is not found in the man who burns the candle at both ends. It is found in the one who knows exactly where to place the flame. Once you learn to use leverage, you no longer need to add more hours to your day. You simply extract more life from each one. That, my friend, is the art of effectiveness. That is the beginning of freedom. Let others run blindly. Let others wear themselves thin. But you, be wise, be strategic. Be still long enough to think, and then move with the concentrated force of a man who knows that power is not in the motion. It is in the multiplication of effort through intelligent design. When you master that, success is no longer a matter of time. It becomes a matter of choice. The world today is filled with movement. Fast cars, faster lives, crowded calendars, and endless noise. But in this rush, most men confuse motion for meaning. They believe that because they are doing, they are achieving. Because they are active, they are advancing. And yet, with all their movement, they find themselves standing still, wrapped in cycles of repetition, buried in routine, and slowly drifting away from the very dream that once set their soul on fire. There is a reason for this, and it is simple. They lack intention. Activity without purpose is like sailing without a compass. The wind may blow, the sails may rise, but without direction, the vessel drifts aimlessly. It may move, yes, but not forward. It may be busy, but not effective. Intentionality is the hidden force behind all great achievements. It is the internal compass that turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. It is the quiet voice that asks, before any task is begun, is this moving me closer to my definite purpose? Without that question, you are just filling your days with distractions. You are checking boxes, replying to messages, showing up for meetings, and fooling yourself into thinking you are progressing. But in truth, you are dancing on the surface of your potential, never diving into the depths where your true power lies. You must realize that not all effort is equal. Some effort drains, some effort delays, and some effort delivers. The man who wins in life is not the one who works the most hours, but the one who spends the most hours working on what matters most. It is better to take 5 deliberate steps toward your vision than 5,000 steps in every direction. A sharp blade, when focused, can cut through stone. A dull one, no matter how hard it is swung, barely leaves a mark. Your mind, your time, your actions, they are the blade. Sharpen them with intention, and they will carve out your future. Ask yourself this: when you wake in the morning, do you already know the one thing you must accomplish that day to move your dream forward? Or do you jump into the flood of demands and let the current carry you wherever it pleases? There is no greatness in drifting. There is no fulfillment in reaction. Only those who take command of their time will ever command the results they seek. Be still long enough to think. Reflect before you act. Do not confuse urgency with importance. The world will pull at your attention from every direction. Every notification, every knock on the door, every new opportunity will beg for a piece of your life. But unless you are guided by a clear and deliberate intention, you will give yourself away bit by bit, until there is nothing left for the mission you were born to complete. The man of power is the man of purpose. He knows his aim, he guards his time, he protects his attention like a watchman protects the gates of a fortress. He does not rush, he chooses, he acts not because it is expected, but because it is aligned. And that, my friend, is the difference between movement and momentum. You must train yourself to pause before you proceed, to measure the weight of your decisions, to examine each task, each commitment, each obligation with the same piercing question: does this serve my highest aim? If the answer is no, then you must have the courage to walk away even if it appears urgent, even if it is popular, even if others do not understand. True success is not granted to those who do the most. It is granted to those who do what matters, and do it with all they have. You will not be remembered for how busy you were. You will be remembered for what you built, what you became, and how many lives you touched. None of that comes from scattering your power. It comes from gathering it, focusing it, and using it with clear, bold intention. So stop measuring your days by how much you did. Start measuring them by how far you moved toward your vision. Stop chasing everything and start choosing with clarity, because when you act with intention, every step becomes a statement, every choice becomes a chisel shaping your destiny, and every moment becomes a seed planted in the soil of purpose, growing into a life of greatness. There is a secret that eludes the majority of men, a truth so simple, so clear, and yet so commonly ignored. It is this: not all actions are created equal, and not all efforts lead to results. You may spend your entire life in motion, but unless you discover and focus on the vital few, you will spend your strength chasing shadows. In every endeavor, there are only a few things that truly matter. These are the pillars, the power levers, the sources of your greatest returns, but they are hidden, buried beneath a mountain of distractions, buried beneath the noise, buried beneath all the so-called necessities that demand your time but do not deserve your energy. You must become a miner of meaning, a seeker of significance. You must dig deep into your life, your work, your relationships, and find out which actions move you forward and which ones merely keep you busy. Look closely at your past victories, what caused them, trace them to their source. You'll find it was never the 100 things you did. It was always the 2 or 3 that truly counted, and so it is with everything in life: your health, your wealth, your happiness, your peace of mind. A handful of deliberate choices and habits create the majority of your success. The rest, they are noise, background static that you must learn to tune out. The key is clarity, clarity of purpose, clarity of action. You must ask yourself with full honesty, what are the few things I can do that will create the greatest impact, and not what feels urgent, not what others expect, but what is essential to the realization of your chief aim. And once you identify those few, you must guard them with the full weight of your discipline. You see, the reason most men do not rise to greatness is not because they are unwilling to work. It is because they are unwilling to focus. They scatter their energy across 100 tasks and wonder why none bear fruit. They start many things but finish few. They chase distractions and call it ambition. They are pulled in every direction except the one that matters. The man who wins in life is the one who learns to concentrate all his effort on the few things that make the greatest difference. It is the law of concentrated power. The river cuts through rock not because it is strong, but because it flows with unrelenting focus in one direction. So too must you live, not diffused, not diluted, but decisive. The world will tempt you to dabble. It will invite you to diversify, to multitask, to take pride in being busy. But remember this: there is no honor in exhaustion, and there is no success in scattering your strength. Real power lies in doing a few things and doing them with all your heart, all your mind, and all your will. Identify your vital few, and the rest will reveal themselves as distractions. Your vital few may be different from others. Perhaps it is writing, perhaps it is leading, perhaps it is creating or building or solving. Whatever it is, you must find it. That is your gold mine. That is where your energy must go, day after day, without fail, without apology. The man who masters the art of selection, the man who knows what to ignore and what to embrace, is the man who multiplies his results with less effort than others spend chasing failure. Success is not a matter of doing more. It is a matter of doing less of the wrong and more of the right. It is not a question of stamina, but of strategy. So examine your day, look at your commitments, scrutinize every obligation with the fire of purpose. If it does not serve your mission, eliminate it. If it does not contribute to your growth, release it. If it does not push you closer to your dream, walk away from it without hesitation. You were not made to chase everything. You were made to complete the essential few, to master your mission with sharpness, with clarity, and with bold, focused action. Once you identify the vital few and give them your full allegiance, you will no longer need to hustle for scraps. You will stand in the flow of abundance because you are now aligned with the core of your purpose. And when that alignment happens, when your effort meets your essence, you will discover that the life you dreamed of was never out of reach. It was simply waiting for you to focus on what mattered most. Every man begins with a dream, but few refine it. Many begin the journey, but only a handful arrive. Why? Because they fail to inspect what they expect. They operate with passion but not precision, with enthusiasm but not evaluation. They move but they do not measure, and that, my friend, is why they falter. The man who wishes to build a life of greatness must become both the builder and the inspector. It is not enough to set goals. You must monitor progress. You must test assumptions. You must, at regular intervals, turn inward and ask yourself, is this working? Am I advancing? Or am I merely repeating a broken cycle? Success does not come to the man who sets the course and walks blindly. Success belongs to the one who adjusts as he advances, who refines as he learns, who alters his methods while keeping his aim firmly in view. Do not fear correction. Do not resist refinement. These are the allies of progress. There is a principle as old as the laws of nature. What gets measured gets improved. You cannot improve what you do not track. You cannot grow what you do not evaluate, and you cannot succeed without first understanding exactly where you stand. Imagine a sailor who sets out toward a distant shore but never checks the compass. He feels confident at first, full of direction and energy, but days pass, winds shift, currents drag. Without feedback, without recalibration, he soon finds himself lost, not because he lacked effort, but because he refused to examine his path. So it is with life. You may set a worthy goal, but if you do not continually measure your progress, you may drift far from the mark. You must become ruthlessly honest with yourself, Look at your results, study your outcomes. Are your actions producing the fruit you intended, or are they merely exhausting your strength? There is great power in reflection, and greater still in adjustment. The man of mastery is not the one who never errs. He is the one who catches his error early and corrects it with speed. He knows that time is too precious to waste walking in the wrong direction. So he checks, he measures, he refines. This applies to all areas of life: your health, your habits, your business, your relationships, your finances. Every domain of your existence must be examined through the lens of feedback and continuous improvement. Nothing left to chance, nothing left to assumption. You must establish clear metrics for success. Do not say, "I want to be better." That is vague. Instead say, "I will read 10 pages a day. I will save 10% of every dollar. I will rise each morning at 5 o'clock. Then track it daily, without fail, because measurement brings awareness, and awareness brings change. But beware, measurement alone is not enough. What you measure, you must also refine. You must learn. You must adapt. You must be willing to break what isn't working and rebuild it stronger, wiser, and sharper. This demands humility. It demands the ability to say, "This method is not serving me. Let me improve it." It demands the courage to look your habits in the face and cut away anything that stands between you and your destiny, even if that habit once felt like a strength. The highest achievers are not rigid, they are fluid. They are constantly evolving, adjusting, optimizing. They are craftsmen of their own future, always sharpening the blade, always tuning the engine, always asking, "How can this be better?" This process never ends, and it should not, for the moment you stop measuring, you start declining. The moment you stop refining, you begin rusting. Stagnation is not stillness. It is the slow death of potential. So live by this rule. Inspect your life the way a jeweler inspects a diamond, with care, with attention, with a hunger for clarity. And when you see a flaw, do not hide it, fix it, use it, learn from it. You are not expected to be perfect. You are expected to be improving. Let each day become a report card. Let each week become a review. Let each month become a lesson. You are not just living. You are building a legacy. And that legacy deserves to be sculpted with precision. When you measure and refine continuously, your path becomes clearer. Your results compound. Your confidence grows, not from blind belief, but from the knowledge that your methods work, your habits produce, and your vision is becoming real, one deliberate improvement at a time. And that, my friend, is how you rise, not once, not briefly, but forever.